Now today I'm going to make some fish cakes. Now these are absolutely delicious fish cakes and I'm going to serve mine up with a tartar style sauce. And they come together and they're just absolutely wonderful together. So give them a go. Now for making up these fish cakes, just going to quickly go through the ingredients. Now in total I've got 500 grams of fish. Now I've got a mixture of cod. Now these are fillets, so there's no bones, no skin. And I've also got haddock fillets as well. Now these ones have actually got the skin on, but we can peel that off afterwards. Now the haddock, the smoked haddock, really gives it a nice deep flavour. So try and incorporate a little bit of the haddock if you can, the smoked haddock. Now also I've got some potatoes, about half the amount, so 250 grams. Now I'm going to peel those, just parboil them really until you stick a knife in and they drop off. It's almost like making mashed potato, but don't overboil them so they go all mushy. I've got one spring onion. Now what I'm going to do with the spring onion is just chop the green bit off nice and fine and we'll incorporate that with the mashed potato. Obviously the further you go down, the stronger the onion gets. Now if you want an alternative, you could use something like fresh chives, which are really good as well. So, you know, it's up to you. Now, I've got a lemon there. Now, what I'm going to do is zest the lemon, so the outside, the yellow bit, probably about 1/4 teaspoon, just to give it a nice lemony flavour. I've got some fresh parsley, because that always goes well with fish, about 3 teaspoons, and I'm going to chop that up nice and fine. Now, I've also got some milk here. Now, the milk is just really to gently cook the fish. So 150 millilitres of milk, put the fish in there and a couple of bay leaves. And once it's nicely cooked, you can take it out, drain it off, and you're going to have a lovely flavour with your fish to incorporate with the mashed potato. Couple of eggs. Now I'm going to beat those. The reason we've got the eggs is because we need to make sure that once we've made up the fish cakes, the pâtés if you like, we can dip them in flour, then we dip them in the egg, and then we put them on the breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs all stick to the egg, and then you can put them either in the oven or you can fry them up as I am, and you get nice crispy looking on the outside, delicious fish cakes, and they taste wonderful on the inside. So apart from a little bit of salt and pepper seasoning to taste, and a little bit of oil, that's all the ingredients. Now the other thing I am going to add is a tartar style sauce. So I'm going to go through the ingredients for those. Now what I'm going to do is add a little bit of that mixture into the fish cakes, but also I'm going to serve a little bit of that towards the end, so you can dip your fish cakes in and it's just wonderful. So let's go through the tartar style sauce ingredients next. So just to go through the ingredients, now I've got 100 millilitres of mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of capers, now drain those, chop them up nice and fine, 1 teaspoon of horseradish sauce, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and then 1 teaspoon of fresh parsley, which you need to chop up fine. Now I've got a spring onion there, so gonna, obviously wash mine, chop it up nice and fine. As an alternative, you could use fresh chives, or you could, chop up a small shallot and add that in. So all you really need to do is get it all sort of chopped up, mix it in a bowl, and that is ready to go. So I've put it on the bowl there. So I've given that a quick mix around, didn't take any time at all. Give it a little bit of a taste. Lovely. It's got a nice punch to it, good flavour, a little bit of saltiness. I mean, when we're going to add a little bit of that mixture into our fish cakes, and again, serve a little bit at the end, that is going to be delicious. So, let's get on now and sort of get the potatoes and all the fish ready so we can bring it all together and serve it up with this wonderful tartar style sauce. So I've come over to the hob. Now I am just going to put my fish piece in there, and also I've got those couple of bay leaves, and I'm going to put the milk in there. Now what I'm also going to use is just a little bit of water. Now what I would say is about the same amount of water as you've got milk. So pour that in. Now I'm going to switch the heat on, bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to put it on a simmer. And what I'd say is probably leave it for about 4 or 5 minutes, just gently simmering away. And then after that, take it off the heat and just leave it to cool down, and we get on with the potatoes. Now with the potatoes, you can always put a little bit of salt in there, just like that. Again, switch heat on, bring it up initially to the boil, probably parboil them for about 8 or 10 minutes and still stick a knife in and they fall off the knife, and that's pretty much how they need to be done. Now I've got potatoes and I've drained them off in the colander, get them really nice and dry. Just going to pop those in the bowl there. Now also we've got the fish mixture which has been sitting in the background. Now what I'm going to do is just pop the fish in the colander. So again, leave that, let it drain off, and then we can mix the potato with the fish, and then we add the rest of the ingredients. We've got the fish here. Now I've got a little bit of skin, but that's fine. I mean, take that off if you don't want it. And again, just mash that with the potato. Now I am going to put a little bit of salt. Got this new machine here. And again, doesn't hurt to give it a little bit of black pepper, ground black pepper. Like that. Got the spring onion, pop that in. The parsley, and of course the lemon zest. Now lemon zest, just scrape the outside of the lemon and it really adds a beautiful flavour. And then I've got this like kind of tartar sauce, one that I made up. So put some of that in and let's just give this all a really good mix. And then once we've mixed it with the fork, get your hands in and then we can start forming the pâtés. Now with that mixture, obviously just give it a move around. Now obviously you can make 4, 8, as many as you want of these beautiful fish cakes. Now I'm going to tend to go to slightly smaller sizes, so just grab one, make it into like a fish shape size, fish cake. And then what you can do is just pop it in a little bit of flour, roll it around. Once you've done that, just kind of reshape it, put one down, and you can do that with all the rest. Now mine are done. I actually got 12, but you could obviously do 6 or 4, do whatever size you want. But I'm going to go over to the hob now and we're going to stick them in a bit of egg, breadcrumbs, get them cooking. Now you could obviously put those in the fridge if you wanted to, but I'm going to kind of crack on. So let's just switch the heat on and put some oil in there. Now obviously you can use any oil, or you could do them in the oven if you prefer. Just put them in the oven until they brown off, probably 20-30 minutes, because ultimately they're still cooked. It's just that, we're trying to get a bit of colour on the outside with the breadcrumbs. Now I've got my egg here, which I've beaten, and it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of salt in the egg, just so the outside coating's got a little bit of saltiness there. Now what I'm going to do is just grab one of those fish cakes, just pop it in like that, get it nice swirling around, put it in the breadcrumbs, and again swirl that around, get a nice good coating. Make sure the oil is not too hot. Start off on high, but what I'd say is you want to probably come to about a medium. So I'm just going to pop this one in, and I'll do that with all the rest. Oh, bit of a squeeze. I managed to get those all in. Now I've got my breadcrumbs. Incidentally, these are homemade. So I had some old bread. I've used most of the egg. So we're pretty much done. I've got those cooking away. Now what I am going to do is probably cook them for about 3 minutes on each side, really until they're nicely cooked. So keep an eye on them, turn them over, build the colour up, and they'll look beautiful. There you go. Look at these, absolutely beautiful, nice colour on them. And 6-8 minutes, all done. Turn them off the heat, take them over the table, let's go and serve them up. Beautiful. Oh, how good is that? So let's just get stuck into one of these and see how it tastes. Look, that is nice and crunchy. Beautiful inside, look at that. Wonderful. Smoked haddock, we've got the cod. Get some of this tartar sauce on there, or tartar style. Oh, let me taste that. Oh. It's so good, it's really hot. Really nice crunch on the outside from the breadcrumbs. The smoked haddock gives it a really deep, smoky, beautiful flavour from the fish. You get a little bit of lemon. And obviously we've got that tartar style sauce which will be added into the fish cakes. And obviously you can dip it in. It is so good. I know it takes a little bit of time to make this, but it's really worth it and it's absolutely delicious. Thanks for watching my videos. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to ring the bell, subscribe. I really appreciate that. Leave the comments. And, you know, recently I started up my Instagram account. Go and follow me. I'd love that as well. And I'll see you again soon. The original Naked Chef.